Have you ever stopped to think that our existence could literally end tomorrow? I'm not talking about conspiracy theories or science fiction movies. I'm talking about pure science and real data that will keep you up at night, just like it did for me. We live on a small blue planet floating in space, and the universe isn't exactly welcoming to life. Today, I'm going to show you 4 terrifying ways our planet could be destroyed as soon as tomorrow, and some are more likely than you think. Brace yourself, because the last one will make you question just how safe we really are. Let's start with something that exists by the millions in our galaxy, but is practically invisible. In the depths of the cosmos, there are objects so dense even Einstein didn't believe they existed. They roam our galaxy alone, and if one came close to our planet, it wouldn't even need to touch us to wipe out all life on Earth. I'm talking about rogue black holes. Scientists estimate there are 500 million of these objects in our galaxy alone, and trillions in the observable universe. These black holes are born when massive stars reach the end of their lives. The core collapses, leaving behind a black hole that drifts through the cosmos, invisible. Here's what scares me the most. We've only detected a few dozen of these black holes, but we know millions are out there. If they were evenly distributed across the galaxy, there should be at least one within 50 light-years of Earth. Feeling a little less safe now, aren't you? A black hole with the mass of the Sun would be just under 4 miles wide. The Sun is over 864,000 miles in diameter, but a black hole of the same mass could fit inside your city. This extreme density makes them nearly impossible to detect until it's too late. If a black hole entered our solar system, things would get terrifying fast. There are 3 ways it could destroy Earth. First, swallowing us whole. If it made direct contact, it would rip our planet apart and consume it. Odds, 1 in a billion. Second way, gravitational disruption. The black hole would pass close enough that the pull on Earth's near side would be far stronger than on the far side. This would stretch our planet like spaghetti until it was torn to shreds. Odds, 1 in 10 million. But the scariest part? Earth could be destroyed even if the black hole never got close. If it passed near the solar system, it would disrupt planetary orbits, flinging Earth out of the system or into the Sun. This is the most likely scenario. 1 in 10,000 odds. Now, let's talk about something closer to home. 93 million miles away sits our greatest ally and enemy, the Sun. It gives life to Earth, but it can also take it away. Every 11 years, the Sun grows progressively more active. The terrifying part? We've just entered the next solar maximum. I'm not talking about when the Sun will expand into a red giant in a few billion years. I'm talking about solar storms that could happen as soon as tomorrow. Solar flares and coronal mass ejections are events where charged particles are blasted from the Sun and hurled into space at extremely high speeds. The best example of this happened in 1859. An astronomer named Richard Carrington was tracking a massive sunspot when he suddenly saw a blinding flash of white light. This explosion lasted 5 minutes, and just 18 hours later, chaos erupted on Earth. Auroras were seen around the globe, and miners woke up in the middle of the night thinking it was daytime. The light from the auroras was so bright. Telegraph systems caught fire even though they were completely disconnected. This event became known as the Carrington Event, the strongest geomagnetic storm in recorded history. If something like this happened today, it would likely cause millions of deaths and trillions of dollars in damage. We will almost certainly face one of these events within this century, and when it happens, it will be devastating. The storm would be detected and reach Earth in 24 hours, meaning we'd have just 1 day to shut down the entire global power grid in preparation. The charged particles would slam into Earth, piercing our magnetosphere and reshaping our own magnetic field. Electrical currents would surge through power grids, causing spikes that would make power stations and transformers explode. The entire communications infrastructure would go completely offline. Nearly everyone in the Western world would likely be without power for weeks, months, or even longer. Millions worldwide would die from cold, starvation, or dehydration. And I know all this sounds terrifying, but the worst part is, this is honestly the least scary way Earth could be destroyed that I'm covering in this video. The next terrifying way Earth could be destroyed was discovered completely by accident. In 1963, at the height of the Cold War, the UK, the US, and the Soviet Union agreed not to detonate nuclear bombs in the atmosphere or space. But how could they really trust each other? So, the US launched satellites called Vela to monitor whether the Soviets were keeping their word. These satellites looked for X-rays and gamma radiation, telltale signs of a nuclear bomb being detonated in the atmosphere. They never found evidence of nuclear tests. But one day, both satellites detected a massive spike of gamma radiation coming from space. Scientists had no idea what caused it. Then it happened again and again, until by 1973, they'd recorded 16 of these gamma ray bursts. It took another 20 years to finally solve the mystery. We now know these gamma ray flashes are caused by either two neutron stars merging or by collapsing supernovae. When a massive star runs out of nuclear fuel, its core collapses. In this process, a gamma ray burst is created. As the star collapses, a black hole forms, and incredibly strong magnetic fields prevent some of the star's material from falling directly into the black hole. These magnetic fields funnel the material to the star's poles, where it's then blasted into space at nearly the speed of light. Like a cosmic death beacon, anything in the path of these beams of hot plasma is in danger. In less than a second, these gamma ray bursts release as much energy as the sun will emit over 10 billion years. They're so powerful, we can detect them billions of light years away. Any gamma ray burst within 200 light years that hits Earth directly would vaporize our planet. The atmosphere would be ionized, and harmful radiation would rain down on every creature on Earth. It would be a slow, painful death. And the worst part? It's happened before. 440 million years ago, Earth experienced the second largest mass extinction event in history. 85% of all species on Earth died out. It's believed a hypernova event occurred about 6,000 light-years from Earth. If the gamma-ray burst lasted just 10 seconds, Earth's atmosphere would have lost half its ozone almost instantly. Researchers estimate an event like this should happen at least once every billion years. The odds are low, but not zero, and realistically, there's nothing we could do to save Earth. This final method of how Earth could be destroyed tomorrow is the most horrifying, because it wouldn't just destroy Earth, it would annihilate the entire universe instantly. I'm talking about false vacuum decay, and people often make it sound way more complicated than it really is. First, think about energy levels. Everything has an energy level. Picture them like the increasing heat settings on a stove. Level 1 is the lowest, while level 9 is the highest. The higher the energy level, the more energy. The fact we hear repeated all the time is that everything is most stable in its ground state, the lowest energy level. Quantum field theory tells us that all the elementary particles making up the universe are created by quantum fields that exist everywhere in the universe. These fields dictate how particles interact with each other, essentially giving us the laws of the universe. And these quantum fields also want to be in their lowest, most stable ground state. Physicists are convinced that all the fields tied to all the particles in the universe are in their vacuum states, all except one, the Higgs field. The Higgs field is what gives all particles in the universe their mass. And since an object's mass determines how much gravity it has, the Higgs field is incredibly important. If the Higgs field isn't actually in its vacuum state right now, things get scary. Imagine a ball rolling down a mountain and settling in a small valley. It seems stable, but it's not. It could roll down even further to a more stable state. And if that happened, if a section of the Higgs field somewhere in the universe reached its true vacuum state, it would trigger a chain reaction. The true vacuum state of the Higgs field would spread across the universe like wildfire, converting the rest of the field as it expands. It would travel at the speed of light. Anything this expanding true vacuum touched would simply be erased from existence. It would keep growing until the entire observable universe was, well, destroyed. Earth would vanish instantly, and all the laws governing the universe would likely change. Maybe life could form again, but we'd have no idea what that universe would look like. Ultimately, we don't actually know if vacuum decay is real. Our accepted models of physics suggest it could be, but it's not like we've observed it. And even if it is real, there's nothing we could do to stop it. So try not to lose sleep over it, though I certainly have. These are the 4 most terrifying ways our planet could be destroyed as soon as tomorrow, based on real science and hard data. If this video made you reflect on our cosmic fragility, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share so more people can access this important information. Thanks for watching, and remember, knowledge is power, even when that knowledge costs us a few sleepless nights. Until the next cosmic adventure.